not supposed to have them when you're in Arizona.
Okay, that's good. We'll just let it run and talk.
Yeah, okay.
Sit down,
Yeah,
Ron.
sit down over there.
I don't mind if I do.
Well, and you retired, what did you do after, well, you were in the Army, right?
I was in the Navy.
Or Navy?
Oh.
I was an aviation fire control technician working on the Navy's jet aircraft.
Oh, okay.
And then when I got it, I did 9 years, and I was up for chief. Probably would have made chief, but I had a young family, a young wife and a baby, an infant child, and I was due to rotate back to sea duty. So I would have had to leave them in Tennessee, basically, and I would have been on the West Coast, and we never would. So I thought, well, in order to keep this young family together, I probably should get out. And so I did.
Yeah.
I did
Our
that.
son was born, he cost $9. He was born in Texas.
Waco.
Yeah,
$9.
$9.
I think.
And it was a private room.
Yeah, I think Jennifer was on the order of between $2 and $4 at the Navy hospital.
Yeah.
I tell young people, I was telling a young lady the other day, she says, well, I'm not happy with my job. She's very intelligent, very bright, very intelligent, 23 years old. I said, if I were you, I'd run down to the United States Air Force. They have every single thing you need right this minute. You know, because she's saying, well, you know, I'm not going to get a raise with my job. She works for a Harley-Davidson dealership, right?
Oh.
And what she does is, when guys like me go online and say, I'm interested in this motorcycle, she's the person that calls you back, or calls you up, and says, oh, I understand you're interested in the motorcycle. And so, of course she doesn't make a lot of money. It's on the order of $10, $11 an hour or something like that. And I said, and she has a small child. And she said, you know, I'm supposed to be getting commission, but I had to borrow some money from my mom the other day to pay the rent on my house. And, and so I told her, I said, what you have, you're basically in survival mode. And I said, but you don't have a career.
Yeah.
You're 23 years old. You need to think about a career. And I told her, I said, the United States Air Force. I said, you could go Navy, but I'd go Air Force first. You know, as a matter of fact, I wanted to join the Air Force. And a friend of mine and I were riding around town, just goofing off. And he says, let's go to the recruiting station. I said, good Lord, man, why would we want to do that? He said, because that's the only place in this town we've never been. It's a small town. I said, okay, we'll go in there and we'll play with these guys. You know, we'll pretend we want to join. And so the building had it had Air Force and Navy. I don't think it had Army and Marines, but that building is Air Force and Navy. And so it was around noon, and I went to turn the handle on the Air Force door, and it was locked. And I said, doggone it. I said, well, I guess they're out to lunch. And I turned around, and there's a Navy petty officer standing in a doorway like this. And he says, so you thinking about joining the military? And I said, well, I was thinking about joining the Air Force. And he pulled the perfect move. He did like this. He goes, you don't want to join the Air Force. And then he just turned around and walked into his office, right? Knowing full well that a very inquisitive young man was going to follow him in there and say, I want him to tell me why I shouldn't join the Air Force. Well, sit down, let me tell you. And he goes, you want a Coke? Because down in the South, it's not soda, it's not pop.
No.
It doesn't matter if it's Sprite or Dr. It's a Coke. And so, and sure, I'll take a Coke. So he pulls a quarter out, he gets one out of the vending machine, and the next thing you know, I'm in the Navy.
Well, you know, it's funny because I got kicked out of the Air Force because of the Navy. When I came back off active duty, I went to work for this little company, a local company, All American Engineering, and they were at DuPont Airport, which is no longer there. I mean, it's covered with buildings now. But they had a test site down in Georgetown, Delaware, which is 90 miles south, and they had a jet sled we had a jet car
Right.
with we had a 2-engine car then. 2 J-33 engines, actually. And we were shoving dead loads into shipboard arresting gear,
Right.
the Mark V and Mark VII. And we were trying to do something to increase the landing speed on the carriers. And the contract was run out of the Navy Yard in Philadelphia. And I used to fly, my first job was to go down and operate the test site. And I would fly to work every day. And go up to DuPont Airport, right up the road here, pull out a Tri-Pacer or a Bonanza,
Oh, wow.
fly to work.
They
End of the
never,
day,
they
fly
never
back.
take your 5-year-old son and put him on your lap with the handle of the doorway. We did that once, and I said, I'll never do that again.
So anyway, we were recording stuff on the oscillographs, and I would take tapes and take them from the test site up to the Philadelphia Navy Yard for discussions as to what we were going to do. And we were in a coffee break one day, and the guy that was in charge, he says, Bob, he says, you mentioned being in the Air, are you still in the Air Force? And I said, well, technically, I mean, I'm not active reserve or anything, but he said, well, we don't want you to be called back to active duty. Are you subject to recall? And I said, well, I really don't know, but I said, you know. So he said, oh, well, you better look into that. And about 2 weeks later, here comes a letter, copy of a letter from the Navy to the Air Force telling them that they wanted to be transferred to the inactive reserve. I don't know anything about that. About 6 weeks later, here came a package of orders about that thing.
Wow.
And I was out of the Air Force.
You were out, mustered out.
Mustered out, yeah. And it's funny because then I came back, they put me over to Lakehurst, New Jersey, where we had built the jet sled tracks over there. And they called me back to the company and said, we've got this highly classified project that we think we need help on. Would you like to come back to the plant? Because I was on TDY over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, commuting, but working with the Navy. And they said, yeah, if you want to come back on. And well, she was pregnant at the time, so.
Sure, I want to come back.
So I came back.
I'm sure she wanted you back.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that was a kind of a bone of contention.
Yeah.
So they put me to work on the JC-130, the satellite recovery operation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I designed, when we caught it was for the Samos capsule, which was a 6-foot diameter thing. And when we caught it, I had this carriage, and we pulled the capsule up against it and then rotated it to pull it into the back of the C-130. So I was back with the Air Force, but not on active duty, but working
No.
with them.
Well, and you made a career out of that.
Actually, yeah.
For a lot of years, right?
Yeah. And,
that sounds like it's just so much fun to work on that kind of stuff, you know.
And the funny part is, I had retired because I'm going to give you a flash drive
Okay.
that I put together for my 90th birthday, and it's got a complete biography thing.
Okay.
And I thought maybe you'd like to have that.
Sure I
Yeah,
would.
you know, something to read in your
Sure, I would.
spare time.
I don't get a chance to update my Flying Fiends website too often because they changed the software that I built it with, so I have to learn new software.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, but I intend to get back to it and update it. Every now and again I'll get somebody that says, "Hey, my dad was in that squad," and then I'll call somebody like you.
Yeah.